Hello, I want to show you some of my progress doing the Google Summer of Code. I'm working on a software called MuseScore. It's an open source music notation software. Today I want to show you something about Crescendo, but before we start with the details, just have a listen to the score. Okay, as you can hear, the volume increases note per note on this one and doesn't do anything here, which is totally fine for a piano. But if you would use another instrument, like strings, that is probably not what you want, because the string should increase volume here. So in MIDI, you have a property called velocity, which is actually a per note property, which gets sent for every note to the synthesizer, so that the synthesizer can do anything based on that information. Normally it changes the volume, but it could also change a couple of other things that are not important right now. So we like to change the volume during this whole note. For this we have the so-called MIDI expression controller. In the final implementation it will be just activated for some instruments, for which it would make sense. So if you choose an instrument from here, which should use it probably by default, it will be just activated. But right now that is not the case and we have to do it manually. So just save it as an uncompressed MuseScore file and open it up in a text editor. Okay, that's probably a lot of things you might not seen before. It's also not so important, but we can add to the instrument, as you can see. We're here in the instrument section, just a parameter called dynamics. And we want to use the expression controller. Okay, save that. And now open it up again and see what has changed. That is weird. I mean, if you pay a lot of attention, you might hear that it did change something. But we have the problem. The standard behavior is that it renders the expression controller as well as the velocity. So they get in the way and add up, and it doesn't work like we would expect. So I will just show you a setting that you can activate here. It is actually advanced stuff, and probably in the final version you don't have to bother with that. But there is a setting called velocity to volume, and it actually changes the impact in the synthesizer of the velocity to the volume. So if I just put that down, it should work good. Let's listen to it. Nice. But maybe, I mean, this is for the internal synthesizer. Maybe you want to use external synthesizers, or maybe you think this way of doing is not the right way. Yeah, there's also something else we can do, because there's a second property we can add to an instrument called fixed velocity. And let's put it to the maximum value. Okay, so now it should play the velocity value 127 for every note. Okay, you see, this knob is turned up all the way. So velocity is interpreted by the synthesizer for all the notes. But still sounds good, because now the MIDI rendering is different. It renders maximum velocity for all the notes. So, but what if you have an instrument, maybe like a guitar? There's a technique called violining, and you might just want to enable this feature for one hairpin, for one special one. Maybe let's say this is actually another note. So you want just to have the volume increased during this period and not here. So you can actually if the instrument uses expression, you can just change it like here and disable it for this one. So it still renders CC11 messages, which are the expression messages, but it doesn't increase them during a note, so it just renders them at the beginning. And so you don't have a volume increase during a note. So, I hope you learned a little bit about MIDI and velocity and expression controllers, and also got a glimpse what the final version might look like. And thanks for watching.